promulgated the law have sterling intelligence to have noted properly that these organizations that must not be taxed.
Even Jesus Christ was in support of paying of tax in Matthew 17:24.
No mannerisms, no cliches, and nothing to obstruct the flow of the presentation.
Hello everyone here. We are very much pleased to have all of you here. This is the maiden edition of the Yaz Intellectuals Debate Show, the first debate show of its kind right here in the country. Already we've had some very scintillating performances from a lot of the halls that have taken part already in this competition. And today we are ready for another nerve-wracking moment as far as the debate competition is concerned.
Okay, so let's not forget that this show is proudly brought to you by Yaz range of products, and supported by Capital O2 and Access Bank. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll determine who is the best among these two halls.
21st century design. Made with durable materials. Bristles crafted to reach in between your teeth. Flexible. Allows easy control. Introducing Yaz range of toothbrushes. Made for every pocket. For bulk purchases, call 0302 235294. Yaz toothbrushes. Clean teeth, confident smile.
All right, so you're welcome back from the break. And today we have one hall from the University of Education in Winneba. We also have one representation from the University of Ghana, Legon. Representing from the University of Ghana, Legon, is the Dr. Hilla Limann Hall.
Limann, Limann, Limann.
It is for no reason that our motto is Wutiti Nizomo, and we are going to replicate it on that very day.
When it comes to debate, we have one of the best hall in UG here, which is Hilla Limann Hall.
Our anticipations are so wild. There, we are going to exhibit our peerlessness in eloquence, extreme confidence in public speaking.
Coming to debates and other public speaking programs, Limann has been highly noted to be best and better.
I'll be really surprised if someone can beat us in any competition.
We know and we believe that you win, as we've always been doing.
And also to represent dexterous and sterling characters who are going to show their worth.
Once in our life, we did it internationally and national as well. And we know that this time around, we are going to win.
And we have a track record when it comes to debating. These intellectuals, we are really repping.
And we are going to win this for Hilla Limann Hall.
And we also have with us here Dr. Kwegyir Aggrey from the University of Education in Winneba.
The noble ladies of Kwegyir Aggrey are not only the pretty face, but we are also intellectuals. We are good at whatever we do, and we are going to excel in this intellectual debate. We are small but mighty. We are the best at what we do.
We are winning this competition. Yes, we are winning.
Aggrey Hall is known for the best students.
You can never have a program and for it to be successful without a noble lady. Never hasn't happened that way. We are the noble ladies of the great institution UEW.
This year, the Intellectuals 2018, watch out for us.
Indeed, we are coming to win the battle.
Watch out for us for the intellectuals.
Noble ladies!
Ladies with the station!
Noble ladies!
Yeah!
for the motion that we're going to talk about is income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed. Income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed. And to speak for the motion will be Dr. Hilla Limann, and against the motion, we're going to have Kwegyir Aggrey.
Before the debate begins, we would like to introduce our moderators for today. And we have in our midst Dr. Oseni Adams.
A round of applause for him.
We also have Professor Goski Alabi. Kindly give out.
Okay, so one particular rule just before we get it started. We have our timer with us here. Anytime you hear the bell ring once, it means you've done 1 minute. Anytime you hear the bell ring twice, it means you've done 2 minutes. Anytime you hear the bell ring repeatedly, then it means your time is exhausted. And please, you don't go further by making your point. If you do that, I'm afraid the moderators may penalize you.
Hobna, a little correction there. When the bell is rung twice, it means you have 2 minutes left to finish with your assertion.
Okay, that's some great correction in there. Nana Bamwa together with my good self, Edu. And so, once again, speaking for the motion, Dr. Hilla Limann.
The chairperson, panel of erudite judges, accurate timekeeper, distinguished guests, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, I accord you all with greetings from the University of Ghana. Gilbert Kwesiapia is my name, and I rise to represent Dr. Hilla Limann as the principal speaker in favor of the motion before the House that income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed. The chairperson, before I proceed, permit me to expatiate on certain keywords in the motion above that will certainly prove relevant in the course of my presentation. According to the Oxford Dictionary of Current English, the word income is defined as money received, especially on a regular basis, for work done or through investments. To generate something according to the same source, it's to produce it or to create it. And religious bodies are organizations of people that believe in and worship a supernatural controlling power, especially a god. According to the same mode, Oxford Dictionary of Current English, the word tax is a compulsory contribution to state revenue that is levied by the government on workers' income and business profits. I wanted to take particular note of that. Therefore, the chairperson, the motion when paraphrased could read that the organizations of people that believe in and worship a supernatural controlling power should not be subjected to the compulsory contributions made to state revenue because of the money that they produce. The chairperson, one major reason why my team and I do not only think, but we feel and know that indeed the motion at hand is undisputable is the undeniable fact that religious bodies contribute immensely to national development. Even though religious bodies do not generate income or they are non-profitable organizations, they are able to assist the government by contributing their quota massively to national development. Now let us analyze this. Labor is an essential virtue of production, and production itself is a contributing factor to development. Therefore, this goes a long way to link us to the desired future that we want to build for the country. A future of a developed nature, now and void of any form of instability, but with quality education, with good infrastructural development, and with quality healthcare services, all to ensure a high standard of living among Ghanaians. You all here will attest to the fact that religious bodies do all these things to contribute to national development. They build schools, they construct feeder roads, they build hospitals, and all of this makes us happy in the society. So why go on to tax them? The chairperson, notable among these religious organizations are the Anglican Church, the Ahmadiyya Missions, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, and not forgetting the Catholic Church. Now, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana have been able to build 2,436 schools, 66 hospitals, and currently they are considered as what? The third highest healthcare service providers in the country. Isn't that wonderful? The chairperson, that is only the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. So we can imagine what other religious institutions are doing. So if they are doing all this, why then should the government go the extra mile in taxing them? It's not fair. The chairperson, it would be injustice on my part if I do not point out the fact that religious institutions are non-profitable bodies, hence they should not be taxed. Well, if you would remember, I stated in my introduction that tax is levied by the government on on workers' income and business profits, yes, which implies that religious bodies which are registered under the government as non-profitable organizations are not taxed by the Internal Revenue Service. And the chairperson, I have with me here an empirical evidence to support our stance, which says that the policy and guidelines of the operations of non-governmental organizations, Act 2007, first paragraph, is telling us that religious organizations are registered as charitable organizations and non-governmental organizations. Therefore, they are not taxed by the Internal Revenue Service. So if we go on to tax them, then we are trying to say that the Internal Revenue Service of the country is incompetent. Another factor worth mentioning is that it will be unfair to tax these religious organizations. The chairperson, there are profitable organizations out there that do not pay tax, that are not registered and licensed to operate by law. But what do we see? The chairperson, even within the religious organizations, some of them are also not licensed and authorized to operate by law. Also, what do we see? People hiding in their bedrooms and in bushes and operating as religious bodies. They generate income. They don't contribute to national development. Yet, they are what? They are what? They claim, yes, where 3 or more people are gathered, the Lord is in their midst. Can you imagine that? People operating as religious bodies, yet they are not even recognized by the government as clubs or even societies. The chairperson, let me ask my opponents this question. Would you be happy if you were the head of a religious institution, paying tax and contributing to national development, yet Auntie Muni sits on the streets of Bimbila selling her palatable wache without being taxed? Would you be happy? Let's be realistic for once, cause we only live once. Finally, the chairperson, I would want to say that people who solely depend on religious bodies will lose their benefits. In Tokoso Takunda is a boy who was born blind, and he was raised by the beloved Letters Love Church in Mozambique. Now the church funded this guy's education. This young boy, the church catered for him. The church did all these things, even with the little amounts they could raise as a small church. All of these things had to come to an end when the church had no option than to close down, or in the name of an income tax that was imposed on the church. And this drastically affected the finances of the church. Now, Ntokozo is on the street begging for alms to make ends meet. And a lot of people out there are also doing that because of what? The tax that was imposed on churches in Mozambique. Now, do we want these things for our country, Ghana? Where churches put smiles on the faces of widows, of the physically handicapped in society. The chairperson, there are some people who can't even work because they don't have hands, they don't have legs. But the church provides for them. Do we want this for the country? Let me tell you a story. Once a Roman general was asked to bring peace to Rome. And in the course of doing that, he killed all the soldiers. But before one soldier died, he said, and I quote, "Solitudinum forciant passem appellant," unquote, which means to create desolation and to call it peace. Therefore, what will be considered as a contribution to the state's revenue will rather have a negative impact on the society, on the people the churches put smiles on their faces, on everyone here, on the people the church provide moral education. Let us not be barricaded with idiosyncrasies, for indeed the motion at hand is undisputable. The chairperson, panel of erudite judges, accurate timekeeper, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to entreat every Tom, Dick and Harry gathered here to rally behind me and go in favor of the motion before the House that income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Principal Speaker, for the motion. Now, we invite the Principal Speaker against the motion.
The chairperson, panel of judges, Aggrey timekeeper, distinguished guests, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. I'm highly delighted to mount this podium on this August occasion to speak against the motion, and I quote, "Income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed," unquote. The chair, I would like to explain the key words in the motion, and the key words are income, religious bodies, and taxation. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, income is a gain or recurrent benefit usually measured in money that is derived from capital or labor. Religious bodies are defined by Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary as a group of people who believe in the existence of God, Allah, or gods, and the activities that are connected with the worship of them. According to the Business Dictionary, taxation is a means by which governments finance their expenditure by imposing charges on citizens and corporate entities. The chair, my opponent, asked a question, and I would like to answer him. He asked if I would be happy if I was the leader of a religious body and the body is going to be taxed. Yes, I would be. Because in Quran, as a traditionalist, as a Christian, they teach us to love our neighbors as ourselves. If we pay taxes, we are going to do as those things teaches us to do. Firstly, the chair, religious bodies are not just an income generation body, but profit makers. Why do I say this? P.A. Williams, a tax consultant, a chartered accountant, and a certified business process outsourcing master trainer, and an SME finance coach who blogs on issues of management, fraud, risk, tax, and business process re-engineering, stated, and I quote, "Running a religious body like church in Ghana is a multi-million cities empire and is evident by the lifestyle of some of these men of God," unquote. The chairperson, religious bodies has two main sources of income. They are the primary source of income and the secondary source of income. The primary source of income is the type of income generated by its own operation, being the tithes, the offertories, the gifts they received from what they do to help their members. And this is what is exempted in the Internal Revenue Act, Act 592, as amended. The secondary source of income, which ranges from the sales of tangible and non-tangible products in their various organizations to their members and the community as large. First, consultation fee. Consultation fee is being taken by all religious bodies in this country, for example. The chair, it will amaze you for you to know that consultation fee being taken ranges from the minimum of 50 Ghana cedis to the excess of 200 Ghana cedis, depending on the type of problem being presented to their leaders. 2, the sales of paraphernalia like compact discs, CDs of sermons in churches, porridges, braziers, yes, I mean braziers. They sell braziers in their various religious bodies. All these things are being sold to earn profits. They want profits. 3, hiring of facilities. Some religious organizations like churches in Ghana rent out their facilities to various people for them to have their ceremonies over there, like wedding ceremonies, musical events, and etc. The chair, the house. You would agree with me that the motive behind this secondary source of income is not to generate income per se, but to make profits. Just yesterday, the clerk for Presbyterian Church of Ghana said, and I quote, "Now Christians in Ghana do not spread the gospel, but they are focused on making money," unquote. Furthermore, the chair, religious bodies should be taxed to create fairness in the system. Why do I say this? Banks in Ghana are being taxed. Their CEOs are being taxed. Staff members are being taxed. but they do not classify that as double taxation. But when members of a church, Islamic community, or a traditional community pay tax individually, come to the organization and we tell the organization to pay tax, they tell us that that is double taxation. This is unfair in the country. They should be taxed to create fairness. We need the tax for a lot of things. Moreover, if religious bodies are being taxed in Ghana, the government will generate much income to help in the development of the country. Why do I say this? The chair. On 21st May 2009 on Business News, Mr. Kwesi Bobi Ansa, the then Chief Inspector in charge of Public Relations and Tax Education of the IRS, reminded the public that taxes remained one of the main sources of government-generated revenue. Therefore, if we have a way of generating this income, why should we let it go? The chair, it will amaze you to know that there are more than 3,000 churches in Ghana. That's only churches. 71% of the population of Ghanaians are Christians and they all go to church. There is a church in Kumasi that every Sunday they accommodate 18,000 members. And just imagine the amount they are going to gain. And that same church sells the braziers, they sell the holy water and the porridges. The chair, they should be taxed. Lastly, the chair, the religious bodies should be taxed to lessen pressure on the citizens of countries in the world. Let's assume a teacher graduates from the training college and is paid 1,000 Ghana cedis. 200 cedis is being deducted as taxation. 200 cedis. And people are making money in religious bodies, having mansions, but they do not pay tax. The chair, the house, please, you should all come with me for us to tell the governments of various countries. I know Canada, they tax the religious bodies. Let's tell all the countries to tax the religious bodies because they are making much more profits than we ever knew. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I've got yes comfort. I've got yes confidence. I've got yes freshness. We've got yes protection.
Ultra thin, wide wings and leak guards. Yes sanitary pads give you maximum comfort, hygiene and protection in a resealable pack.
We've got yes protection.
Yes sanitary pads. Maximum protection, maximum confidence.
Don't worry, we've got yes protection.
Since brevity is wisdom, I would not like to talk much about the point that is clearly elucidated by the principal speaker of my team. I am Peter Kofi Kilson Akins, representing Dr. Hilla Limann, the first supporting speaker of the motion that income generated religious bodies should not be taxed. And that is why. 1. They provide services for those who are deprived in society. Mr. Chairman, I believe strongly of the tremendous humanitarian endeavors that are embarked by these religious bodies in this country, aiding infrastructure, healthcare, education, water, and etc. I strongly believe that if these bodies are taxed, it will either lead to a reduction in the provision of these services, or in any case, cease completely the provision of these services in the country. Mr. Chairman, let's assume that a religious body provides 50 scholarships to students. When they are taxed, they are bound to reduce it or either clear the scholarship schemes that are going to be at the advantage of students. I don't believe that they should be taxed for this reason. Secondly, I believe that if they are taxed, it will shift or it will cause a seismic shift in the sort of work they do. Their primary work is to connect people to their maker and also to share their homilies. Lastly, to provide services for their members. I strongly believe that if religious bodies are taxed, it will make them participate in purely business-minded activities. In other words, their actual focus will be shifted into making businesses and exploiting their members, when rather it shouldn't be the case. Also, it may lead to a situation where all of these religious bodies may assume partisan stand to run against government that so implemented these taxes in their administration. Mr. Chairman, I would like to clear some mendacities and blank statements that made my opponent. I believe that all of the points they made are just hasty generalizations and are not backed by empirical evidence. Mr. Chairman, it is already in the Income Tax Act, 2015 Act 896, Section 97, that talks about tax exemption for religious bodies. In fact, I believe that those who promulgated the law have sterling intelligence to have noted properly that these organizations that must not be taxed, all because of certain contributive things they have made to this country. Indeed, we must not throw dust in the eyes of this honorable audience here. Secondly, IRS Act 2000 Act 592, Chapter 3, Section 105, Subsection 2II, talks about gift. What she talked about, that these religious bodies take donations, tithes, and etc. from members to enrich themselves at nothing much, as much ado about nothing. The reason why I strongly agree about this point that I have made here is that all of these are gift. They are considered gift. And these people give it out of voluntary doings. They are not doing it out of compulsion, so we must get this rightly clear. Again, she talked about these churches or religious organizations renting their offices. I must say that these organizations pay property rates to the government, and that there is a need to rent it out to take money out of it. It does not mean they are doing business. The buildings that were erected there are taxes that they pay to the government each and every year for their usage. And so, I think they must not throw dust to the eyes of these intellectual audience. Mr. Chairman, already these organizations are contributing tremendously to national growth. In fact, we could talk about education. We have people like Kofi Annan, people like Ibn Chambers, and people like Dr. Kwegyir Misata, the former Vice President of Ghana, who all emanated from Infantipim School. And indeed, these people have contributed their quota so well to this country. I believe strongly that their effort can never be relegated to the background. Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, Aggrey timekeeper, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, Aristotle once said that truth goes through 3 stages. 1, it is ridiculed. 2, they are criticized. And 3, it is accepted by all. Mr. Chairman, I'm left without any shred of contradiction and a jot of doubt that my opponents will join me to sing the large chorus that income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed. Gracias, TB Tam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First supporting speaker for the motion. Now we invite the first supporting speaker against the motion. A round of applause for her, please.
The chairperson, panel of judges, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you. I, Jureke Vivian, the first speaker against the motion, income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed, unquote. The chairperson, I believe strongly with all my opponents have said, they are all fallacies. He doesn't have evidences for it. Because he made mention of Dr. Kwegyir, Aggrey, and these great men. I want to remind him that these great men did all their charity works not under the banner of religious bodies. They did it as individuals. The chairperson, to begin with, I say, income generated by religious bodies should be taxed to prevent the abuse of tax exemption status. As we all know, the religious bodies do not pay tax. Individuals are taking advantage of this status, and they are registering their private properties like buildings, cars, mansions under the name of religious body. The chairperson, fellow students, I believe if we all know how much these people are making great misunderstandings, legal tangles in this community, in this country, all over the world. Fellow students, I believe and I know with strong evidence. There was a case in University of Tennessee, as I gave to the chairperson. Three people came together as an organization trying to register all their assets in the name of a religious body because they took part in several religious activities. They thought it was a church. The chairperson, a further look into this brings me to say, paying tax by religious bodies makes a whole lot of sense because it will just be a going back to the old paths. One may say, what is she trying to say? One great founder once squeezed about tax, and this was what he had to say in Matthew 17:24. Thank you very much. This is a biblical proof of their paying of tax. And I read, and when they came to Capernaum, those who received the temple tax came to Peter and said, does your teacher not pay the temple tax? He said, yes. And when he had come into the house, Jesus anticipated him saying, what do you think, Simon? From whom do the kings of the earth take customs or taxes? From their own sons or from strangers? Peter said to him, from strangers. Jesus said to him, then the sons are free. He went on to say, nevertheless, lest we offend them, go to the sea, cast in a hook, and take the first fish that comes up first. And when you have opened its mouth, you will find a piece of money. Take that and give it to them for me and you. Even Jesus Christ was in support of paying of tax. Co-debaters, he was in support. He told them, for them not to offend them, pay tax. I believe strongly, if religious bodies pay tax, they will be doing the country a lot of good. The chairperson, co-debaters, fellow students, I strongly believe that if you all come together under one banner and help pay tax by the religious bodies, the country will go a long way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we now have the second supporting speaker for the motion?
The chairperson, unbiased panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Na Adaku Ado, a proud student of the University of Ghana, representing the Dr. Hilla Limann Hall. I stand to speak vehemently as the second supporting speaker for the motion before this August House that income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed. The following are convincing truths which were raised by my formidable team, which we backed with substantial evidence. 1. Religious bodies contribute immensely to national development. They augment the government's duties in providing the communities with healthcare facilities, educational facilities, and even create jobs. 2. Religious bodies should not be taxed because they are non-profit organizations. So taxing them is going to go against the Tax Income Law Act 2015 Act 896 Section 97, which says that religious bodies are non-profit organizations and should therefore not be taxed. Moreover, a greater population of our country benefits from these religious bodies. They provide the less privileged with help. So if you go forward, if you go ahead to tax them, they're going to channel their income into providing for these less privileged people to paying the tax. 4. Taxing religious bodies will be unfair on the part of these bodies because they are private institutions, they are profit-making institutions that manage to evade tax. So why not think about getting them to pay their tax, but rather go to the non-profit organizations and tell them to pay tax. Last but not least, telling these religious bodies to pay tax is going to take their focus from being religious bodies into being profit-making organizations or partisans. After all said and done, there's one thing I'd like to add. When the fall will stand, when the stand will outstand, But when they try to outstand us, will be the standard by which they are measured. The chairperson, unbiased panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen. I still believe in the fact that truth builds a nation, but false words destroy it. That is why it's up to you and you, to choose between truth or fallacy. Checking your stance, you decide. Let us not be barricaded with lies, for truly, income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed. Facta non-verbal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We now call on the second supporting speaker against the motion.
The chairperson, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen, I am Atipu Ayira Mimi, the supporting speaker against the motion that, quote, income generated by religious bodies should not be taxed, unquote. Mr. Chairman, I believe with the cogent point raised by my fellow debaters, you would all agree with me that religious bodies should be taxed. First of all, the point that income generated by religious bodies should be taxed based on the fact that it will create fairness in the system. Mr. Chairman, we all know that religious bodies, people in the religious bodies pay taxes, but taxing them wouldn't be double taxation. That's why we believe it will create fairness in the system. Secondly, taxing of religious bodies wouldn't be a crime since there are no more charitable organizations but profit-making organizations. We also said that taxing of religious bodies will prevent greedy and irresponsible people from hiding behind these tax exemptions not to pay tax. We also said that there's a saying in the account site that Sankofa Yenchi, from the quotation my sister read, and Zakat, which is the part of the 5 pillars of Islam, paying of taxes is a mandate to all religious bodies. Mr. Chairman, we also raised on the fact that we believe that UT Bank and Capital Bank wouldn't have faced what they faced if taxes were being melted on religious bodies, in the sense that the pressure on them was too much. And if religious bodies also pay tax, it would be fair to everybody. Mr. Chairman, with this relevant point, I believe you all here would agree with us that religious bodies should be taxed. Thank you.
I believe you have all appreciated how much intelligence the two sides have all shown today.
Exactly. They have both meticulously given us their stance on the motion, and that is very great of both of them.
All right, so even before we hear the judges, congratulations to Dr. Limann Hall and, of course, Dr. Kwegyir Aggrey Hall. They have all been very, very amazing this afternoon. And so it has been very, very, should I say, wonderful for us to listen to great minds, great thinkers, great speakers, exhibiting what they do, how to do best.
Okay, so we'll be waiting for the data from our moderators. But before that, we'll go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll hear what they have to say.
I love Food Frosted Flakes because it's so crunchy and full of nutrients. All you need is milk. As usual, Mom.
9 minus 3, 2, 2. That's it? Yes?
90.
With cereal flakes has 9 essential nutrients with no artificial additives or colors. Yes?
Food Frosted Flakes is rich in vitamin E, B12, iron, high in carbohydrate, fiber, protein, sodium, and it's very affordable.
Clap for him.
Food Frosted Flakes! Food Frosted Flakes! All you need is milk. Yay!
Hooch comes with 3 variants: Frosty Flakes, Choco Flakes, and Cornflakes. Each pack has 10 mini packs of 50 grams, and each box you buy comes with a free exercise book. Hooch is available in all supermarkets and retail shops. Hooch Frosty Flakes. All you need is milk.
All right, so you're welcome back from the break. And of course, we very much privileged to have with us wonderful moderators, Professor Goski Alabi and Dr. Hosseini Adams. They've done a very wonderful job so far in the competition. A round of applause for them. But just before I give them the opportunity to tell us what they have for us, Yas, again, they have a stand outside, and so if you buy any product of Yas, you stand a chance of having
Opportunity to do your internship with
your
them.
internship, exactly. If you want to have your internship with Yas in whichever department, it is a very big company, so whichever department that you want to be part of Yas, there's an opportunity for you, and they are selling their product at a discounted rate, and so make sure you grab a product of Yas, and I'm sure you stand a very good chance of having your internship with them. And so on this note, we ask our moderators to give us what they have for us.
Okay, so once again, we give you all a hearty congratulations. It's been a very exciting session, a very quality one, of course, and we want to assure you that the points were given by the judges independently. It is quite close to call. In fact, very close to call. First of all, the 4, which is the Hilla Limann Hall of the University of Ghana, had a great exposition. You did a very good presentation. You had great presentation skills. Your points were made very clearly. The body language was good. You were very intellectual and you supported your points quite well. For the Kwegyir Aggrey Hall, we want to say congratulations. You also did a great job. When the principal speaker was talking, you were exceptionally intellectual. For once in this contest, we saw citations that were made quite clearly and very appropriately. In citing, you mentioned the full name of the individuals you are quoting. You also go ahead to mention who or what they are and they do, and then you quote the citation that you want. You make the exact quotation that you want from them. And I think that referencing style is very appropriate, particularly for the writing of academic and scholarly reports. You gave a lot of examples and you made sure that much of what you said were supported with factual evidence and references. You were very logical, and in fact, you deduced a lot of your points and conclusions. And we had quite a number of inductions from the other side. So you could make the difference between inducing and deducing from facts. You could check that much later. And the supporting speakers were equally good. So what happened? We had the first judge scoring 25.5 for one side and 24.5 for the other side. And the second judge scoring 17.5 for the first side and 18.5 for the second side. We have a tie. So, because you are so good, you have a second chance. Congratulations to both sides.
Thank you very much, Professor Goski Alabi.
You've done very well, the two sides. It's wonderful that it has occurred just at the beginning. The time has come just at the beginning of today's work. It's very good. When we talk about, I will talk about use of language. When we talk about use of language, that is English, you did marvelously well. All of you. The principal speakers were very, very excellent. They were good. No mannerisms, no cliches, and nothing to obstruct the flow of the presentation. That is, in fact, an additional credit to whatever you did. It is wonderful. Yes. What I will say is that when it comes to a point like this, it becomes very, very difficult to decide. You've all done equally well, but it is nice we're going to be giving another slot for you to meet, to lock horns again. There we will decide, the winner will come out of the next chance given you. You've done very well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Osenio Adams. And so, congratulations to the two halls, Dr. Kwegyir Aggrey Hall and Dr. Hilla Limann Hall. Round of applause for them, ladies and gentlemen.
So this show has been sponsored by Yaz range of products, and supported by Capital O2 and Access Bank.
Of course, they've been amazing so far in the competition. So on this note, we say bye-bye to you. My name is Edu Jemfi and I'm here with
Nanaba Amwa.
Thank you very much.